Yo!
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. Welcome everybody to Revenue Stream. How cold is it in your house there? What are you wearing there? What's that?
This is a hoodie. Just a police hoodie, mate. And it's cold.
It's like you just dressed in an absolute cuddle.
Yeah, honestly, it's my winter hoodie.
Looks well, it is winter now, isn't it? It's December.
Yeah.
Advent calendars this morning. First one, first door.
Pinch punch, first day of the month. Holy shit. The market is not where I thought we would be a year or so ago, or even 2 years ago. So in fact, everyone likes hearing fails as well as wins. So here is a massive fail. So those that know me know that I am more than 100% in on Tau. And I always do this. Once I get conviction or certainty in something, I go all in every way. So not only is every penny in Tau, I then lever up. So all my businesses are levered up. Every spare penny is in Tau. I've personally levered up, etc. So a couple of years ago, I did a whole bunch of deals, or corporate loans, personal loans, all that sort of stuff. And there's some tranche of these expire today. So literally, I have to pay back £400,000 sterling in loans today / tomorrow. And when I was doing the calculations, I thought, yeah, Tau will be a lot higher by 1st of December 2025. Not only that, it's like halved in price in the last month. So yeah, I'm going to have to be shelling out double the amount of Tau just to cover these loans. So big fail on my behalf.
Big fail. Where's price going then?
Who knows? No. Like, I've said this for a while. Like, we've had the longest US government shutdown in history. And when that happens, everything stops. Even like the people, maintaining national parks, they stop getting paid. And so they go home. Everything stops. And the TGA, the Treasury General account, so it's like the US's piggy bank or cash count, that just fills up and up and up and up. And if you look at the chart, it's pretty damn high, relatively speaking. And although the government went live, it takes a while for things to just turn on again. Tomorrow, QT or quantitative tightening stops. So this TGA, which is like a dam, not all, some apertures are open, water can start flowing out, which means more spending, more treasury, more borrowing, etc., etc. So it's not QE, it's QT ending, but it's bullish. And we've seen all sorts of bollocks from JP Morgan. They've always faded what they've said. Jamie Dimon has always been like, Bitcoin shit. Meanwhile, his Norwegian branch is rapidly buying it up. He's been doing the same shenanigans recently. So yeah, I just think this is the last tree shake.
I mean, I feel absurdly calm on it all because my conviction is stronger than it was when you were taking out as many loans as you could get your hands on to invest into Tau. And of course, the name of the game for us is to turn Tau into as many Tau as we can. So that's our focus, is on, can we take 1,000 Tau and turn it into 2,000 Tau? And how can we do that whilst supporting the ecosystem as best we can? Where are those opportunities? So we're much more interested in our Tau return rather than the price of Tau. So yeah, I feel very, very calm about everything. It's all good. And of course, we get the insight from every subnet, and there's a lot of subnets doing a lot of interesting stuff right now.
Yeah.
And
recently.
Yeah, and we've got one of them on today.
Yeah.
In our digital green room.
A returning guest, which is Akshat from Dippy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Oh, you're still muted. That's my bad. Try again.
Awesome. Great to be back. Thanks for hosting us again.
Is this your second or third time?
I think it's my second time.
Second time. Nice. So, before we get into it, one of the things that got me really excited last time you were on, I was trying to imagine where your new Dippy studio was going, and I was like, wait a minute. So you're saying we can have Zoom quality meetings with a video avatar by Christmas? Now, it's not Christmas yet, where are we in that?
I'd say we're halfway there. So 3 weeks ago, we launched the video feature in the app. So now you can one tap any message and generate a visualization of whatever is happening in the scene. It's not quite real time yet. So there's still a lot of optimizations to be made, but we do have video now. A lot of users are loving it and using it. And we think over time, this will just become quicker and quicker.
Interesting. Okay. So back then, a lot of the users thought I got really excited about this video quality, avatar zoom quality, real time for sordid reasons. They thought my mind was going off into like the OnlyFans direction, but no. That's not the case. For me, I was thinking from a sales and marketing perspective. Because I've always, people hate sales, business owners hate doing sales. Business owners typically are the choke point within the sales funnel. Even if they get meetings, So I've always been wanting a very good, clever video avatar that can do Zoom sales meetings and stuff like that. And that would help things like Lead Poet or Bit Ads or businesses and full stop. So I'll stop rabbiting on because you've got some slides to show, haven't you?
Well, but before we get into the slides, unless they're covered off in the slides, I think let's take a step back and just re-establish what Dippy is, ever so briefly, just in case anyone hasn't caught that first episode, just so we can kind of fill them in. If that's covered off in the slides, great. Let's get straight to it. But otherwise, let's just take them, walk us through it.
It's in the slides as well, but I to give you like a quick brief anyways. Dippy is one of the leading, I would say, AI friend apps in the market. So we fill the niche for entertainment, loneliness, anyone writing fan fiction online. And users typically come online. They get to choose from now, I think, almost 700,000 user-generated characters. And the average user is spending an hour every day chatting with the app.
But this started off as a productivity play.
That's right. Yeah, we started off building a productivity assistant for the Mac. And we quickly realized that most people were spending their time chatting with the assistant rather than being productive. So they were venting about their day-to-day, gossiping about their coworkers. That's really what gave us inspiration to build the platform.
I love that they're gossiping about their co-workers with their AI productivity assistant.
Yeah, I guess people are lonelier than you think.
Yeah, so you lent into that, got rid of all the productivity pretense, and doubled down on conversational, and it's taken off since then. And your user stats are astonishing. Great. Let's go into these slides. I'm excited for them.
Awesome. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
Here we go. Ooh,
Perfect. So
Here we
this is really how we see
big cat.
Dippy and Dippy Studios role in the ecosystem. So Dippy, I guess, as I mentioned, is like a platform where you go online and you have interactive adventures with AI friends. But the tooling required to enable this experience is pretty different from what you would need for like a productivity tool. As Siam mentioned, like you would like to video call these characters live or use that for like a sales outreach campaign. But there's more to it as well. There's like the LLM piece, which is text-based, emotional. The other side is like the image piece. You want to voice call these characters as well. You want to see how they look like in different settings. You want to create videos of them. And so we have internally come to call this sort of intelligence experiential intelligence, which is this intelligence or tooling required to power these new types of experiences, which Dippy enables as well. And I guess on the user stat side, we've grown to more than 8 million users now. I think we're at about 8.6. So hopefully we'll hit 9 million users soon as well. In about a year since launch, I think it's been more than a year now. This is really interesting to us, but due to all the model training stuff we did on SN11 early on in our Bittensor journey, as well as the in-house optimizations that we've made, Dippy now has the highest engagement time in the category. This is higher than Character AI. This is higher than Janitor. This is higher than Polybuzz. Character, I guess everyone knows, was acquired for like $3 billion by Google. There's Polybus, which a lot of people don't know about, but it's like a multi-billion-dollar Sequoia-backed Chinese giant that's trying to acquire users in North America under the name Polybus. But Dippy by far has the highest engagement time in the category. And this is publicly verifiable. Anyone can go on semrush.com, type in all the competitors' name and see like a comparison for all the apps against each other. And this is what the app looks like. Some context on Dippy, as I mentioned, typically users spend their sessions chatting. All the characters that you see on the platform are user generated. A lot of people get confused and think that Dippy makes these characters, but they're all UGC. And if you don't find anything for yourself, you can also create your own characters. And Bittensors actually played like a really instrumental role in helping Dippy scale. So Subnet 4 Targon now powers 100% of Dippy's text inference. And we sort of see Dippy as like the consumer-facing front door to Bittensor. A lot of people don't realize that we use Bittensor, or whether Bittensor can even be used for like a production-grade application. But Dippy is clearly proven for that to be the case. And you often use Bittensor without you even realizing that you are when you use Dippy. And so recently, we actually ended up signing an annual contract with SN4 Targon. It's a 6-figure annual contract. We've shifted away completely to them. We were using Together AI, which was a centralized provider. We ran a pilot between Together and Targon for a few months, and we found no difference in quality or latency. And we often found the support offered by the Targon guys to be much better than what we could get elsewhere. So real serious businesses are being built on Bittensor is the TLDR. A bit more about Dippy stats. We now have over 1 billion messages sent on the platform cumulatively, and engagement time has tripled since the start of the year, as I mentioned. Another important role that we see ourselves playing is we've bought back a lot of alpha for SN11. We did pause in between, but starting this week, I would say we're going to continue buying back the alpha from our Subnet token. The reason why we stopped was we did buybacks opportunistically when we felt the alpha token was undervalued. Now we're going to do it consistently. And the reason behind that is explained in the next slide, which is Subnet 11. So Subnet 11, since our September relaunch, has finally started working. It did take us more time than we anticipated to get all the pieces right. But we've created like a new architecture that's solely optimized for image inference. We're able to deliver image inference faster and cheaper than most centralized providers. And we have like a public benchmark that we'll be posting this week as well, where anyone can go in and compare the performance of SN11 compared to like a Replicate or Flux, or just running it yourself on the GPU. And the reason why we were able to do it was we worked with like the premier optimization experts like Paul Bridgers, who's followed by Andrej Karpathy. He's like a top-notch AI researcher specializing in optimizing inference. And what he's been able to do for us is create like this infrastructure which takes any model, wraps it in like an optimization thing called TensorRT, just TRT, and delivers like a speed up over just hosting the model yourself. And so where Subnet 11 is headed is right now, this is also exclusive to the podcast, but 2% of all image inference requests by Dippy users are now being powered by SN11. We're going to rapidly scale this to be 100% of image inference requests being powered by SN11. And we've also got a lot of inbound interest from other subnets wanting to use the service. And so on the roadmap, our plan is that Dippy becomes the anchor customer for SN11, where we're able to prove out that, hey, this service works reliably, it's quick, it's serving millions of users. And then we're going to launch like a beta version for anyone to come in and use the self-serve API and use all the models available on the platform. We'll be onboarding new customers in a couple months to start scaling this externally. So beyond just Dippy being the customer, we don't want to be the single customer of our own subnet. We spend a lot of effort and time to make this scalable. And so we're going to basically onboard anyone who's interested in using the SN11 Studio service. And you should expect to have the fastest image inference at the cheapest cost compared to any other competitor on the platform. And then next year, we're going to start adding more and more modalities like 3D and video and audio models to become like a one-stop shop for all your Gen AI media needs. Right now, we're focused on image since we don't think even that niche is pretty well filled. If you compare Bittensor to like other centralized competitors, we don't have a lot of image models that are currently being used in production use cases. And so we think Dippy Studio can fill that niche. And then how does, I guess, Subnet 11 sort of tie into the Dippy app's future is we think chatting with a friend was like a cool starting point, but that's not really where things are going. We're seeing these new models emerge that let you generate like an entire world with a single prompt. I don't know if you guys have seen Genie 3 by DeepMind. But essentially, what you're able to do is generate these worlds where you can maybe fly in a helicopter along the coast of Spain with your favorite Dippy character with just a single prompt. And we think someone's going to make the open source version of these models. Right now, they're still locked behind like an API, but Dippy Studio will become the premier subnet to create these and host these world models as well. And this is the bet that we're taking at Dippy as well, which is that storytelling is moving away from being like this passive one-way consumption experience where you just, I guess, sit there and watch a movie to now the user sort of driving the plot and taking the movie or like story in whatever direction they want to. And we think the most sought after entertainment experiences will become these ever evolving generative worlds where you're able to drive the plot wherever you want and the world sort of adapts to your needs. And we think Dippy will become the de facto platform to create, share, and experience these new entertainment experiences, which we're calling generative worlds. And we almost think of it as like a once in a decade opportunity to build like an entertainment platform akin to, I would say, the next generation of YouTube, where you're able to empower these creators with all these tools across many different modalities. So like video models, voice models, generative world models, and they can craft experiences that are just not available or possible on any other platform. Like there's no YouTube for this interactive AI experiences right now, but it will exist inevitably is the bet that we're taking. Yeah, happy to pause here. I also did have one more slide to go through, which we've done a lot of work on, but also happy to take a pause.
Okay, so one quick question. You said 2% of Dippy is powered by Subnet 11. So can you just elaborate a bit more? Because people think, wait a minute, Dippy is Subnet 11. I thought all of it was powered by Subnet 11.
Yeah, so SN11 in its early state was a model training subnet. So we trained these role play focused models, or LLMs to be exact, and we put those trained LLMs, or like the best LLM from our training runs, into the app. And so anyone could use the models that were generated through SN11. What we've done over the past few months is transition away from the model training subnet to now creating this one-stop media generation or media inference platform where we host a bunch of these models that can power your image inference needs. And we use that to serve image inference requests from the Dippy app. So when someone's creating a character and they want to create an image, that's 2% of those requests are being powered through SN11. And the reason why...
11, you mean Targon through SN11?
No, this is SN11. So SN4, Targon, is for text inference.
Okay.
So when you send a message, that's powered by Targon. But Targon doesn't support media generation. So things like videos or images or audios.
Okay.
And so Dippy Studio is essentially filling that gap where now Dippy Studio is serving images for the platform.
But what powers those image generations through 11?
So the whole subnet's, I guess, set up similar to how Targon or Shoots is set up. Where miners, yeah, it's a compute subnet now. So miners are generating those images. And what we've enabled them to do is give them like a really optimized version of Flux Dev, which is an open source model. So we're able to run it faster than anyone else.
I see. Okay. So what are the validators doing? How they validate? So I guess they're so when an image for, let's say I wanted an image of a turkey eating some humans.
Yeah.
That goes through.
2 validators.
Yeah.
And then
It goes to the miners. And then how many images of turkeys eating humans would be generated?
so what we've done is we've created this new thing called deterministic inference. So we can get away with just one miner producing the image, and then we have an orchestrator creating a replica, and both of those come out to be the exact same. And so we can check whether the miner is doing their job correctly or not. And the reason why we've been able to do it is because of all the optimizations and the TRT wrapper that we have created. So we don't have to check redundantly with like 5 miners to make sure that they're doing their job correctly.
So are you the miner then? The one?
We're not the miners.
Okay.
We're just like, I would say like auditors, let's say. So we make sure that everything's happening correctly.
Cool. Nice. Sorry, yeah, that was the one thing I picked up from that. So
I'd say like an easy way to maybe understand SN11 is it's open router for media generation. Open router in its current state is set up as like a text inference platform where you have different models, and for each model there's multiple providers like Together or Targon or Shoots competing for who gets the request. Oftentimes the way open router selects who gets the request is whoever's able to inference that the quickest for cheapest with incredible uptime and so on. And so we're trying to do the same for media inference. One thing that I did want to address, and we've seen a lot of this from the Twitter community specifically, and recently addressed on the various Telegram group chats as well, is we do take moderation pretty seriously. And this has been like this is sort of like I would say like an ongoing effort at the company. Because users often find ways to bypass our filters. But we do have this multi-layer moderation policies in place. So earlier, from the beginning, the app's only been available to users who are above 18 years of age, because we think that's like the responsible thing to do. One lapse that we did make was on the web. You could send 5 messages without verifying your age. We have since rectified that, and you cannot send a message or see the character's message without signing up and confirming your age. We've also partnered up with Clavata, which is the leading moderation technology provider in the space. They sort of become like the industry standard. Character uses them, Generative uses them, and so on. And so we've partnered up with them. We also have the in-house AI classifiers that are constantly improving and trying to detect whether a character's NSFW, extremely NSFW or illegal. And then we also have community-driven flagging. So if anyone sees anything on the platform that they don't like, they should feel free to flag it, and we'll remove that from the platform.
No, that was really one of my questions I had coming into this. So nice one.
Awesome. Another thing that I wanted to address on the buybacks is going forward, our ideology there is we obviously don't want to be freeloaders of our own subnet. This is not like a way for us to get free inference. And so the way we're going to do buybacks going forward is, till now, we were spending a lot of our money on centralized media inference providers like FAL AI. They cost us anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a month. As we transition away from FAL to our own subnet, which is now serving all our media inference needs, we'll be buying back the equivalent amount of tokens as a way to give back to the subnet holders. We haven't thought about whether we should burn the tokens that we buy back or just hold the tokens that we buy back forever, but we are going to give back to, I guess, the token holders of SN11.
So like $5,000 to $10,000 a month of alpha buyback.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's nice. Yeah. So I mean, so from where I am, you had a product, you've made the product better, but really the ambition is to be a platform for other people to run products on as well as you. So better product, and now you are developing the product because you want to make that better, but you also want to turn it into a platform.
Yeah, I guess this was largely born out of our own needs. So our philosophy at the company is we'll use the best provider after they go through like rigorous testing and experimentation and like a pilot. And we are big fans of Bittensor, and we were able to find Targon as the one shining example of, hey, this is better than any other centralized provider that we could use, even without any bias for Bittensor. It's just objectively better than using Together or any other centralized provider for the company. And we want Dippy Studio to have a pretty similar experience for anyone wanting to do media inference, which is that, hey, all these external centralized media inference products do exist. There's like Replicate, there's FAL, there's Fireworks, and so on. But Dippy Studio should objectively be better than all of them in delivering a better, cheaper, faster media inference experience. And so we couldn't find that in Bittensor when we were evaluating the subnets, and that's how we decided to build this in the first place.
And then I liked the timeline from kind of books through movies to this worlds. Talk a bit more about this worlds bit. What do you think that's going to look like?
Yeah, what has happened over the past few months is essentially a bunch of these world model companies have spun up. So this is by Google. This is Genie 3 by DeepMind. And what it lets you do is, instead of creating a video or like an image, you're able to create a world that you can actually interact with. So what it could look like is, if you're solving a murder mystery in Dippy with like 5 different characters, it could be that you're transported to like a library where now your character is able to move through the map, and you have to pull out like a specific book which has the clue to the mystery. And that's all interactive in real time, and all of that is spun up by just using or inputting a prompt to these world models.
So
Go on. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. So I've got my AI friend, who's my normal Dippy friend, and then instead of watching a movie, I create a world where I'm a skier about to enter my first Olympics, and I want like a 90-minute world, and it's me and my Dippy friend, and off we go to the Olympics, and I'm a long jump skier, or I am near my Dippy friend are going to the library to solve a murder mystery. And instead of watching a movie, that's what this world's entertainment is.
Yeah, and you can control where your character and you are going or doing inside this world. Right now, the models are still pretty nascent. So there's a few companies in the space. There's Genie 3 by DeepMind. There's Odyssey ML, which if you just visit odyssey.ml, you can actually just enter the world right now, and you can roam around and do things. There's also a new world model lab by who's called like the godmother of AI. I think her name is like Fifi Lee. She runs like a Stanford research group. She just came out with a world model. But the idea really here is like, instead of being again like a passive consumer of videos or images, you are driving where or what you want to do inside these worlds. So if you're seeing sort of the video, you're in like a horse event, and you can take the horse wherever you want. You could be flying with it, or you could be jumping through the hoops, and all of that is generated just through a single prompt. We think it's still really early, but as you've seen sort of how quickly these things evolve, we want to be best positioned to take advantage of that.
Yeah. So now you kind of started off in this journey kind of accidentally. It was the productivity side, and then people wanted that, and now there's significant intent there because what you think is going to happen to this space is this sort of innovation, and you want to be at the forefront of it.
Yeah, and there's no like de facto platform where you can experience this type of modality either. So our belief here is like if you create a really good AI video app or like AI video tool or AI video model, the primary platforms where it will get distributed is YouTube or TikTok or Instagram because those guys own that modality. Similarly, for images, it will be Instagram. For text, it will be Twitter or Medium and so on. But there's no platform that can support these interactive experiences, so to say. And we want Dippy to become that platform where we're able to empower all of them with tools across these different modalities, and they can craft these worlds and people can come online and play them.
Yeah. Okay. So you actually. So I suppose so in the same way that with Dippy at the moment, I can go on, I can look through other people's characters to see if I want to be friends with any of them, or I can make my own. And in Worlds, I might go on and Siam has created a world that I might want to go and visit, or if I want to, I can make my own world, and then that sits on the shelf, and then somebody else can come and visit that world.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's what an exciting waste of time that will be for people when they get them.
It's just entertainment.
It's just entertainment. I know. It's lovely, isn't it? Well, people used to be very, very much against reading books. There was you shouldn't be reading books. That's a true story. That and then movies, exactly the same. Fill your head full of this rubbish. So it's only the same thing. Only the same thing here. It's just that we get stuck, don't we, in what was normal when we were children, I guess, and then you're like, "Phew." They go, "We'll be instructor at the Olympics." Makes absolutely no sense. But of course, yeah, it does, and that's what people want because the stats on your engagement at the moment are mind blowing, and I imagine that this is going to be even stickier than just having a conversation.
Yeah, the missing component, according to us right now, it's still pretty text heavy. And not a lot of people like reading really long text. And so the quicker we're able to move away from text as the primary medium, the more engaging and immersive these things will become.
And it says 2026 and beyond. Like, when do you think I'm going to be able to do this on Dippy?
It's hard to put a timeline on these things. The world models are already out. If you just go on Odyssey ML's website right now, you'll be able to play with them. To get them to like a production ready state, I guess needs a lot of investment. So maybe hopefully mid next year is when they're production ready.
And then we've had a question come in right here, which I'll bring up. Is there any scope for this to be used to make interactive video games in the future?
For
And
sure.
my guess is that this is kind of an interactive video game.
Exactly. And even with like just raw LLMs, I don't know if you guys have seen that video where you're now able to one shot a clone of Minecraft using GPT-5 codecs. This was tweeted by Greg Brockman, who's like the president at OpenAI. But the way these things are evolving, I wouldn't be surprised if someone's able to disrupt Roblox, for example, with all of these new models coming out.
Nice.
Phew, it's crazy. So how big is your team now? How much bigger is it going to need to be to build the platform out the way that you want it?
Yeah, we're about 10 people now. We're actively hiring more people on the backend AI side, and we're actually diverting more resources to Bittensor as well. Primarily because the amount of inference and compute that's needed to power this experience is just insane. Um, like you're talking about real-time video, you're talking about real-time audio, these world models. And so we think Dippy Studio is the right investment for that. And so we're going to rapidly build out the platform, hire more people and divert more resources to build it out. Not sure about the exact number of people we'll need to build it out, but we are actively looking for smart people who are interested in pursuing this opportunity.
Nice.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll get some winners there, because it is a very exciting thing to be working on.
Yeah, hopefully it's like you get to work on like the frontier AI technology. I think there's many places that you'll be able to do that.
So you had 25 slides there. Did we go through all of them?
A lot of them were based on like if the community had any questions. The main thing that I wanted to address was the moderation piece. I guess another thing that we may or may not have shared before is Harvard did the study on AI companions, and essentially the conclusion that they came out with was that they reduce loneliness on par with interactions with real people. A lot of people believe AI companions are harmful for people or users in general. All the science indicates the exact opposite. Then I would encourage everyone to read this as well. It's like a 60-page study, pretty methodical. They compare apps similar to Dippy and just human interaction amongst like a group of 1,000 or 2,000 folks. And in the end, AI companions do serve their need in reducing loneliness.
Nice. And so, okay, so 8 million users in the first 12 months, which is impressive. What about revenue at the moment? What's that looking like?
Yeah, revenue still trending. I would say it's similar to how it was the last time we were on. So about $40,000 to $60,000 a month. The reason behind that is primarily because we made these trade-offs to maximize retention and engagement instead of improving revenue. Because we think in the long term, most of the revenue is going to come from ads, not subscriptions. So we don't want to hard paywall people to not be able to use Dippy and churn them off to other competitors.
Yeah, the idea last time was that you're going to be able to, if I remember correctly, actually have kind of inline ads in the dialogue, in the conversation, and it will be the same
Yeah.
situation with words.
We're still talking to a bunch of these in-message ad companies. One of them is called Simula, but the infrastructure for these in-message ads is still being built out. We've piloted a few partners, like NextAd was one of them. Unfortunately, I think they just went bust or couldn't find enough traction. And so we've now moved on from NextAd to Simula, and we're still evaluating them. Still, I'd say it's like it looks like the market's mature, but it's still very, very early days.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're so early, and you're one of the handful of subnets that's got kind of that level of revenue coming in. It's quite a lot of revenue. It's a good sized team, and you've got a lot of users. You are quite mature in a very immature marketplace.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So Tal Nexus has asked, what is your main target audience? Basically, who uses the app?
Yeah, so our primary user base is actually 18 to 24-year-old women who are coming online to chat with, I would say, like these fan fiction characters, anime characters, write romance novels, and just, I guess, not feel lonely. The other half of the audience is like I wouldn't say other half, I guess like 30%, 35% of the user base is 18 to 24-year-old guys who are actually coming online to fight with their favorite anime characters. That's like a big use case. Like they just come online, fight with like a Goku or one of the Dragon Ball Z characters. and then both both genders engage with like the murder mystery stuff or playing RPGs and so on.
Wow, this is such an alien world for me. I still don't understand it.
I'd say it's like the same tropes that do well in pop culture do well on Dippy as well. Like if you've seen Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
it's like primarily targeted at women. Those types of tropes similarly do well on Dippy as well. So like a mafia billionaire, or like if you've seen like 365 Days on Netflix, all of those tropes repeat themselves, I guess, for eternity in various shapes and forms.
Interesting. Wow. I mean, for the first time in many RSs, I'm out of questions. I think you've covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, I always like it when people do slides.
Amazing.
They've thought it through. They know what we want, and it makes our job a lot easier. You pull it up there, Siam. This prior.
So what happens with all of those chats? Do you
Should we write?
Yeah. So go for it.
Yeah. I guess we give users the control over these chats. They're free to delete them. They're also free to delete their whole account, by the way, which just takes away all their data away from our servers. We also have this policy to not actively train models on personally identifiable information. So we do have PII reduction. But that being said, the most interesting data point to the company are what we call memories. And these are essentially like likes or dislikes that the user has expressed through the chats, or products or things that we know they like, and what we have learned through the chats with various characters. And so we have like a memory bank for each user that sort of captures the traits, their gender, their age, their likes, dislikes, what sort of chats do they like, what sort of characters do they like. Think that could become pretty valuable advertisement data in the future. But we also give users full control over it.
So how long is it until you start using those chat memories to serve very targeted ads?
It's still early days. We're debating whether we should build the entire ad infrastructure in-house or wait for like a company to spin up that does that for us. Because not only do you have to spin up this infrastructure, you have to get advertisers on board, you have to get publishers on board, you have to create like this whole marketplace. And then you have to track all the analytics. So there are a lot of companies coming up that are working on this. And so it's just about, I would say, timing at this point. Yeah.
Once you built the platform here, what is is there going to be an organization or organizations that come on to use the platform, or is it going to be end users creating stuff, or a bit of both? Like, who's going to come in and use this?
So are you talking about the Dippy consumer platform or SN11's platform?
SN11, I guess.
Yeah, SN11's platform. So Dippy will
Yeah.
be a user on the platform or a product on the platform.
Yeah.
But who else?
I think it'll primarily be indie developers, organizations, anyone really who wants to do any sort of media inference. It's a pretty similar, I would say, user base to Fal AI or Fireworks, where they be like products like Canva, for example, are leaning into AI. And they want their users to be able to create images. Or there's presentation companies that need image inference, or there's enterprises who need like a pre-recorded training video. So I'd say it'll primarily be organizations, indie developers who are building all these different products like ourselves, and so on.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be very, very cool. I'm excited to see it all.
Yeah, for sure. We're excited as well.
Amazing. Well, Akshat, thank you again. Will you come back in 3 months? Give us
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. What was that, like February time? It'll be that's a suitable epoch
Yeah.
for the next one.
That'll be good. Fantastic. We're excited. Always love it when you come on and share the future with us.
Amazing. Yeah. Glad I could be of use, and thanks for having me again. It was a wonderful time.
Yeah. Oh,
Thanks.
just one last question that's just popped in, which I think is a pretty good question. We the People says, this might not be technologically doable now, but could the Dippy app be turned into a talking friend that sits active on the phone, kind of like an Alexa, like Jarvis to Iron Man?
I think maybe on Android, but I'm pretty sure we can't do this on the iPhone just because of the restrictions that Apple has imposed on the OS level. We'd like to be or serve this use case, but unfortunately, a lot of platforms won't allow us to do that. That being said, we are rolling out voice calling this week on Dippy as well. So you'll be able to call any Dippy character by the end of this week.
What? So you can make up your own character, and then
You can
chat with it.
You can also give it like a custom voice. So you can prompt what voice you want the character to have. You can just call them.
Wait a minute. So I could create Santa Claus on Dippy, give it a lovely, deep, husky voice, whatever, and then I'm like, kids, Santa's on the phone. And I know his name.
Yeah, you should be able to do that by end of this week.
I'm actually gonna do that. That's cool.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Thanks, Akshat. We'll see you soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.